I stood, craning my neck beside my father, the top of my head coming only to his waist. He pointed, smiling, and I followed his finger to the creature clinging to the side of an oak's trunk. A fiery-headed, sharp-beaked, crow-sized bird. He called it a pileated woodpecker. Birding, which is watching, identifying, and recording observations of birds, has been the pastime of people across cultures. Practiced both by amateur and professional, young and old, dabbler and scientist. Audubon journalist Nicholas Lund quips in his article on beginning birding. While aching knees or backs will eventually force your peers to hang up their skis or mountain bikes, birders can bird for as long as they can walk, roll, or look out a window. My father taught me the relaxing and explorative nature of birding from a young age, and my interest has only continued to grow. Today, I will share with you how to begin exploring the world of birding. First, by gathering the proper tools and information, and then by identifying birds in the field. So, I'll show you how to prepare for birding first by gathering some necessary tools. The first thing you'll need is a field guide specific to your area. For example, this is an Eastern and Central North American field guide. What you'll want to do is begin to flip through and familiarize yourself with the birds in your area. You also want to note the types of birds you'll find in certain locations, such as near water, in open fields, wooded areas, stuff like that. The next thing you'll need is a pair of binoculars so that you can see birds from far away, as that's what most of the birds that you're going to be looking at are. Next, most people prefer bringing a camera or some kind of audio recording device so that you can make observations and record them for later identification. Next, Peter Thayer of Wild Birds suggests that you dress in neutral colors, as bright and neon colors might scare off birds. Finally, pay attention to the time of day, as most birds prefer to be out in the early morning or later in the evening, usually not in the middle of the day. Now that you know how to prepare for birding, I'll explain the process of identifying birds in the field. Cornell University's Lab of Ornithology warns many ID tips focus on very specific details of plumage called field marks. While these tips are useful, they assume you've already narrowed down your search to just a few specific species. According to Hugh Powell of Cornell, there are 4 main steps to identifying birds in the field. First, note the size and shape. Now you'll want a point of reference, such as a tree branch or a body of water. Next, identify the main color pattern. Look for its primary colors. Does it have stripes? The color of its tail, its wings, its cap. Next, note the behavior. Is the bird soaring? Is it fishing? Is it foraging for berries? Or is it singing? Finally, observe the habitat. Is it near water, in an open field, a wooded grove? And once you've done all 4 of those steps, then you can observe other unique field marks, such as the hood of a cardinal, or the great horned owl's ear tufts, or the crown of a great blue heron. Roger Lederer, an expert on birding, supports this system of identification. He says, distance, tricky lighting, individual variation, and damage from staining, oil, or simple wear and tear can lead to the absence or obscuring of field marks. Therefore, even before studying a bird's plumage in detail, a birder takes note of its size and structure. So, for example, I'll show you how to identify a very common bird, the northern cardinal. First, let's take note of its size. A cardinal is a medium-sized songbird with a long tail and a blunted beak. Next, its color. The cardinal is mostly red with some black accents. Next, its behavior. You'll find a cardinal foraging on the ground or in bushes, or perhaps singing in a low branch. Finally, its habitat. You'll usually find cardinals in woodlands, most commonly in suburban gardens, and other brushy habitats. Now that we've gone through all 4 of those steps, we can note its specific field marks. Notice its hood, which is the longer feathers on top of its head, and its song. Today, I've shared with you some tips to begin exploring the world of birding. As it requires only a few tools and a simple walk around outdoors, birding is a hobby anyone can practice at any level of expertise or dedication. Nicholas Lund once again relates the joy of birding. Believe me, the accomplishment you'll feel when that bird is all of a sudden flapping or paddling or sitting in front of you, no longer a flat image in a book, but a living creature. That feeling is what this is all about.